Morning, Sue. Just straighten things up here a minute. Well, it's another lovely day. It's very dark and grey out there, isn't it? Hello to those of you watching. I think there's some. Oh, the three could be just my two and you, Sue. My two screens and you. Unless there's anybody else joining us. Hello, Helen. Yes, Sue, I can say that we actually do have the same rain, same weather as you now have. I know sometimes you get rain and we don't, but yes, it's just started to really come down. It's very grey out there. Hi, Brenda. Good morning to you. Yes, I know. We're doing that very British thing, aren't we? Talking about the weather. And oh my word, my poor garden is getting blown to pieces out there. And would you believe it? The gardener's coming round this afternoon to cut all my bushes and stuff down. He's at my parents' this morning. Don't know whether that's happening now. Helen, no! You can't say that. How can you have sunshine when it's absolutely bucketing it down here? Wow. Okay. Hope you're all well. Morning, Moya. Thank you for coming along. Yep. We're just talking about the weather, Moya. What's it doing in your neck of the woods? Excuse me a minute. Oh. Oh, yeah. Same as it is here then, Moya. You have our weather too then. Okay, Helen, it looks like you're the only one with the sun at the moment, so we're all coming your way. Gosh. Yes, definitely definitely the weather to stay indoors, isn't it? Gosh, my word, it's really coming down. We'll just have to remember our lovely summer we had, the parts of it. Now, I'm sorry about this shade. It's because of where my desk is and my overhead lights, so the ceiling lights. But if I shut them off, I think it's going to be too dark. So hopefully it's not going to be too much of an issue for you. Yes, Sue, definitely a day to craft. It's certainly not a day to go out and do anything else, is it? I bought, I've got 3 new trees to go in, and I've had them, they got delivered Wednesday week, and I haven't been able to get them in, and I was going to do it today. Well, if it calms down this afternoon, I can try and go and dig some holes, I guess. Yes, Moya, definitely just a day to sit in, craft, lounge on the sofa, hot drinks, telly, whatever. I noticed the other day that Christmas films are on now. A little bit early, I think. A little bit early to indulge in those. Still. Hope everyone's staying well where you are. It's definitely a very strange time. Hi, Pauline. Oh, my, Moya, really? So Pauline's with us as well. That's good. You've been making Christmas presents. That's so good. That is so good. What kind of things? Can you share what you've been making? Oh, thank you, Moya. I look forward to seeing them. I do look forward to seeing them, definitely. That'll be lovely. I have done some crafting this week, or rather, I've been attempting to. I have this idea in my head, and it's not panning out quite how I want it to do so at the moment. But as soon as I eventually get it to do what I want it to do, I will show you. I collected some lovely autumn leaves as well. I don't know how I'm going to use them because I didn't press them properly. I left them on my craft table and then got distracted like one does. And they're dry, which is fine because obviously they're going to dry out. I'm just hoping I can still use them without them breaking. Well, Moya, it's not a Christmas present. It was just some crafting I've been trying to do with some new stamps. I have this, as I said, I've got this idea. Hopefully it will all come together. I was trying to do some watercolouring in the week and it wouldn't work. I don't know why. It didn't work on one little card. And I wasn't using a lot of water. So I flipped a watercolouring card and it still didn't do what I wanted it to do. So I'm going to have to investigate. And I've used pencils and pens, watercolouring pens. What I haven't actually done is hipped the old ink palette. So maybe I'm going to have to do that. Very frustrating, but never mind. Oh, no worries, Susan. You're not late. It's only 2 minutes past 10. Don't worry about that. Lovely to have you join us. I don't know how many people are coming in. Pauline's here as well. So we'll probably make a start anyway. Whoever wants to pop in. I don't think we've got a lot coming in. I already have an idea for the next session, but I'll talk about that later. But what we're going to do today is look at different kind of backgrounds on these tags using different mediums. So obviously you can use any stamp you want to, anything at all, and any kind of, well, I've used oxides, as I said, on the Robin one, and I've used magicals, but just to give a little bit of a sparkle. But you can use anything. You can use your Perfect Pearls, even your pixie powders would probably work because they are water-based as well. Any kind of watercolouring, it really doesn't matter. It's just to try and get something to do something slightly different. Now, on both of them, I have stamped in similar colours. You can't see all of them very well. I think you can on this one. You've got the greens and I've got the antique linen as well. On this one, there is actually stamping in this area, but I'm not sure I don't know if I can angle it so that you can, let me see, so you can actually see it. Can you? I don't, it's very, very light, this one here. I'm going to actually flip to using green on the demonstration, and I think the inks are going to show up slightly better. You want them to complement each other, you don't want them to disappear completely. But anyway, they are there with all the smearing and some splatters, which went kind of a bit wild on that one. So, because we've got to wait for, I prefer the oxides to dry naturally. Let's just see how we get on. If they're too wet, then get your gun out and just bear in mind that when we do it again, it's sometimes easier or you get a better finish by not forcing them to dry too quickly. So we'll go with this one first. We'll do this one first. And as I said, I've used the hello Barbara, by the way. Sorry Barbara, I did get your message. Yeah, so Barbara's message, those of you on WhatsApp are probably seeing this if you're in WhatsApp as well. So Barbara's just saying hi. and a grim start to the weekend with the weather and a threatened lockdown, which we really don't want, do we? Hi, Lucinda. Thank you for joining us. So let's just get crafting. I will warn you, I may get interrupted because I am expecting some post, which has had to be redelivered. They delivered it Wednesday now. Our regular post lady knows our secret hiding place. Mine and my neighbours, we share it. Obviously, the person that delivered it this time didn't, so it went back. So it's out for redelivery, which has had to be today because I was working yesterday. So I apologise up front for that. They may or may not turn up. Just got a little mark on there, so let's get rid of that. Time I finished adding ink, that's going to disappear. Okay, so let's start with this one then. So what I was doing, I don't know if any of you do this, sometimes to get an idea about some different colours to use, on Pinterest, you can do colour palettes. So you can look for colour palettes. And I mean, sometimes it's the different shades of a colour. Other times it is different colours being mixed together. And it's either for interior decorating or for painting or anything like that. But they give you some ideas. Now, this isn't exactly the same colours, but it gave me an idea of what I wanted to do. Oh, hi, Nikki. Nikki's with us as well, but she's on WhatsApp as well today, which is fine. Oh, Helen, I'm sorry about you losing your son. You're just like the rest of us now, just getting very wet. So anyway, as I was saying, on Pinterest, I was having a look at some different colours and I wanted to mix it up a little bit. So they had a sagey green and a creamy kind of colour and a kind of this kind of a brown. And I thought, well, I'll do that. And then with the robins, I'll just add a pop of red. It might not. Sometimes it works, sometimes it won't. But I think it's worked okay here because it's not bright red. It's more of a cherry, a vermilion-y kind of red rather than a bright red. So that's what I wanted to do, add the pop of colour there. I've just realised something. I don't have my little strips of card. So I'll just cut some up while I'm talking to you in a minute. So on this one, we're going to create the background using these three colours. If you're stuck for colour choice, try Pinterest and have a look at the palettes and see what comes up and if anything takes your fancy. So we're going to do these one at a time. I'm not going to mix them. So let's get started. Everybody ready? So let's get some, whichever is your first colour down on the map. And then spritz, we don't want over water it. You know, let's try and get it to dry naturally. It might not, it might take too long. And if you're using sometimes you want the bubble, sometimes you don't. But on the craft mat, it keeps the bubbles. So sometimes you get this kind of effect, which I really like. So I'm going to just leave that like that. There is still a little bit of colour on there. So I don't know whether we take some spare card or we just have to, at the end of the day, it would have to be sacrificed to the cloth. Let's see what we can do. You can always die cut it later or use it for something else. There we go. I'll just dry that off. Right, as I said, my preference is to have this dry naturally. I don't know how long it's going to take, so we may have to resort to using the gun today. Okay, we're just going to have to do it. Can't sit here for 5 minutes, can we, really? Right, let's just dry this off then. I'm going to try and keep the heat away from it. I don't want to go too close. Most of it is dry, actually. It's my little bubbles that aren't. It's nearly dry. Of course, I forgot to mention, if you wanted to keep the back of your tag clear, which is what we're doing at the moment, should be all right, you might want to put some paper on the back just to protect it. But I think mine stayed pretty clear. Oh, I actually coloured mine at the end. I got away with it. If you're going to use it, if you're going to put it on a card, we don't need to worry about it. So now we're going to do the second colour. I'm going to go down with the green. So the first I used was antique linen, and this is bundled sage, but hopefully you're using different colours. Let's see what you come up with. I like what you guys come up with. Oops, I'm sure there's something wrong with my spray. It looks like it's going at an angle half the time. Okay, so that's a little bit wet in there, isn't it? That's just, yeah, that is very wet. Too much water, Angela. But again, let's give it, and don't worry about leaving some white gaps either, some white space. Nothing wrong with that. A little bit of white space isn't going to hurt. Just mop up the extra here. There we go. And dry that off. And I am going to have to dry this green one. It's got way too much water on it. Let's try and get that water off there. Need to spray a bit less next time, I think. Not be so heavy-handed. Okay. Too late. Susan, what's too late? Just in your message. Sorry, what's too late, Susan? Oh, it's got a big dollop of water there. Let's just stamp that. That's very weird. Oh, ink on back. Oh, sorry. You can always you always ink over the back. Oh. Yeah. I think we're all right. We have got a bit of fussy cutting to do, haven't we? But okay, I'm gonna. Is all of you dry? It's not dry. I think it's all right. And then I'm going to add the third colour, which this is tea dye. I'm wondering. I'm going to add a tiny weeny bit of vintage as well. Don't worry about it. I know I only told you about 3 colours, but I'm just going to add a little bit. Oh, they're too square, those. Yeah, that looks very edgy. I might get some edges on this. See if I can just try and just do bits of the tag. Oh. So I'm just placing tiny bits down at a time, not the whole thing. Yeah, like that. Let's just get this all mopped up. Give that in essence a little bit of a chance to dry off a bit. And then right, and And then I'll just dry that off. Okay. And then we'll do this bit. Right. Okay. I'm happy with that. All right. Oh, I'll use this actually to create my little bits of so yes, of course, Dopey Mare. I don't know how you mocked up your spare bit of card. Your ink. If it's on a spare bit of card, that's great, because that's what we can cut the bits out that are going on the bottom here. If not, you can leave them white actually. I have they can be left white if you want to, or if you want to add a little bit of colour quickly, you can do that now as well. Or if you're ahead of me. Okay, Lucinda. What was on what? Is your mop-up sheet card as well? Is it big enough to make it into the tag? I'm just going to dry this off quickly. And then I'm going to cut mine up. Right. Good idea, Moya. Okay, go with that and use your first tag to cut 3 little pieces of card out at differing widths and lengths. I suppose I could do it on, oh, actually, let's have a look. If I do it on the guillotine to start with, and then I'll cut it up on the, with the scissors. So I'm just going to cut some different widths. Wow, that is thin. Even that's a bit too thin, I think. Let's not go crazy, Angela. And then in between the two. I don't know. You can cut them up anyway, really. You only want a little bit of card. You don't need too much. And then we'll get them glued straight away, because I do have them on before we do the stamping. So we'll just have a look and see which bits I want here. So I'll just cut it there. And I'm going to have smaller pieces on this one, but that's okay. Can always double it up. And then, oops. Wow, that didn't cut properly. These aren't really my craft scissors. They're just here to... Let's have a look. Yeah, something like that. That would be fine. And then decide where you want them on your tag. I did mine separately on the... I'm just looking at my original. I did mine separately on the original tag as well. So the markings aren't the same. Of course, you could put it on first and then do it and keep the markings the same, which either way works. Or you can leave them white, which I've seen that before. Or, depending on the colours, of course, you could pick one of your colours out and do like that. It's just a way of adding a little bit of texture to the tag. So we'll glue them in place. And then, whilst that's drying, one thing about this Pergamano glue, when it's down, it's down. And that's a bit crooked. Oh well, I have to stay like that now. All adds to it. Queen wasp in the craft room. Oh no! Could make a tag, but we'll go with it. Okay, Lucinda. Oh, Helen. It's not that. A queen wasp in the craft room. Wow. Well, I hope everything's okay there. Good old hubby coming to your rescue. I don't think we'll need those bits of card, but I better not throw everything away, had I? I don't need that now. Okay. So, what we're going to do then, if we come back to the original a minute, we've got some stenciling on here, which I'll show you that in a second, some stamping. We've also put our robins in. Now, if you want to stamp your robins first, or whatever image you're using, if you want to put that image in first, I know we're going to die cut out I've die cut my robins, we'll colour them in a second, but if you want to stamp it down first, so you've got the music and the branch now, then you'll have an idea of where you might want to place everything else. Okay, does that make sense? So let's have a look at that. Let's stamp that into place now then. I am going to do it using the All and Create block that I happen to have in front of me, rather than getting my press out. Is that straight? No. I'm just going to shift this a second and use my grids. I think the back of my stamp is getting dirty. Let's just have a little over this a minute. So it's not adhering quite right. Right, let's have a look at that. So just get it straight. Bring this in. Oops. And just going to stamp on here. All right, in this case. So decide where you want it, either up, down, depending on whatever the shape is. I don't know. If you've got a long one or a round one, but put it where you think it's going to look best. It doesn't have to come down onto the bottom of the tag, onto those bases. If you've got a more floral image or something, you might want the stem coming from that area. Of course, these are sitting on it, so... Ooh, I wonder if I'll do that this time. What did I do? I had it a bit higher, didn't I? I think I'm going to stamp mine down there this time. Let's do something different. And I am stamping in brown. I'm not stamping in black. So I've decided to keep this with brown. Doesn't matter. If you've got a blue tag, you've got blue ink, you can do that. If you want to use the black ink, then that's fine. It's whatever you've got to hand. Have I got enough ink on? Yeah. And then position your stamp. Now mine does go off the edge slightly, but I kind of like that in this. So I just colour the back of the image a little bit as well. Just make sure, so on the tail area, just colour the back. Again, if it's going onto a card, it doesn't really matter. If it is the tag that you're going to be using yourself, then obviously it will be good just to, when we die, cut them out. Oh, fussy cut them out. Unless you do have dies, of course, for your image you're using. Make sure it comes into contact. And then lift. Of course, it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect because we are going to fussy cut over. That's okay. That's not too bad. I was never going to get that lined up exactly, was I? Straight on there. Well, I suppose I could have done. I'm happy with that. I think that looks quite good. So let's get this out of the way. That there. Okay. So what we'll do now is we'll do some the stencil and some stamping, the other bits of stamping around it, and then we'll look to do the main image. So now we've got this. What you can do with your, we're going to do a stencil first, and I've got my snowflake stencil mask, I guess this is more than stencil, to do some, we're going to ink this up, wet it, and then stamp onto it. We're going to use it as a stamp, so we're going to get some different shapes using the colours that we've used in the background. And then we're going to add some different background stamps. Now you can use a background stamp if you want to. So if you've got your journaling stamp or anything like that, that could be used. What I'm going to use instead are the stamps that well, the snowflakes don't come with it. These holly ones, which we'll use later, come with my other stamps. So we'll do that. So I've got some snowflakes. I'm keeping everything snowflakey. And then the brown areas here are part of other sets. So it's whatever stamp sets you've got at home. So I keep all mine here. So we can use bits of the tree. We can use parts of the tail of the star and things like that here. We don't have to have background stamps, if you see what I mean. So we could just use this piece of holly as well here if I wanted to just use that. We could use the antlers from the deer, just that little bit. So have a look at your stamps and see which bits, which parts of a stamp would actually work well on your backgrounds. If you want some spirally bits, then we can use the antlers. Oh, I might just do that this time. I wasn't too happy with the way my tree went. I didn't place it right. If you have a look at this one, it's too close to where it's sitting for him. So I'm going to think about I'm going to stamp it differently. I'm only going to ink up part of the stamp. So maybe not the trunk, and then just use it as like down the sides here, like that kind of effect. I'm going to attempt to do that. Let's have a look. And then we've got some, I'm going to use the antlers as well. So we'll just ink up the antlers and do that. So we're going to try and do this without using a block, depending on the stamp you're using. So we're just going to ink up parts of it and then just stamp straight to it with our fingers, using our fingers as the block. But first of all, let's do the stenciling, because of course that's going to be slightly damp again as well. So decide on which of the colours you want to use, which part of the mask you want to use or stencil that you're using. And I think I'm going to do these two this time. We might get a little bit of this one, but that won't be too bad. And I'm going to do it in the green, and then I might add a little bit in one of the other colours. So I'm just going to ink up part of the stencil. Make sure you get a nice bit of ink on there, as well as all over the back. Just clear that up a little bit. And then, away from your card, I'm going to put a little bit of water on it, spritz it slightly. I don't know whether to use that actually. We'll use it. So just spritz it slightly so it is a bit damp. Then bring your tag in. position it where you want it to go, and then just go. And then with a cloth or a paper towel, just dab. So hold it in place so you're picking up any excess water. Ooh, and it might have moved. And there you go. I don't know if you can see it. It's quite a light colour. I'll do some more over it as well and choose some different ones. Can you just about see that it's catching it here? Hopefully you can. If I put it into the light. So we've just got, you can just see the snowflake coming in here. So we're going to do that a couple more times in the, I'm going to use the green colour. And then I'm going to choose different parts of the snowflake. I mean, just ink the whole thing up, really. Give it a little spritz. Ooh. Just a little spritz. Decide where you might want to place it. Then hold it down with the towel or the cloth. So if any water's coming out, you're picking that up as well. And again, it's not always going to be perfect. So we've just got certain lines coming in, but it's giving us a little bit of texture. And then still got some on here. So I'm going to see what we do down here. Let's get these in here. And give it a bit of pressure on there. Right, and then that didn't come up very well. Not wet enough. Let's put a little bit more ink on here then. Ooh. I'm going to switch colours in a minute. So press down. That's it. So I'm getting very faint lines on mine, which is okay. But I said I'm going to do, right, I've got some green there. So I'm now going to change the colour. Might put a little bit of the brown in actually. Let's have a look. The tea dye, I'll use the tea dye. And then I'll use these at the end here. Oh, so much better covering. And then see, I'm going on to the tags here. Hope you can see what I'm doing. And as I said, we will be bringing some, we're going to put some stamping on. So we're just doing some backgrounds on here for the minute. Yeah, oh, the browns come out a lot easier, a lot better. You can see that. Again, so just add a bit of more brown. I'm going to go for that little one right there. Just so you get some texture on your tag. Obviously, you can use this anywhere. And those of you that know Abs will know that he does this a lot from All and Create. I just thought, there we go. I think it's showing a little bit better for you to see. Hopefully you're seeing it, you're getting it to do what you want it to do on your tag. So I just need to do one more, the rule of 3. Put a little bit more colour on. Oh, eek, I think that might be too wet. And then just let's pop these here on top of those ones there. And hold. There we go. And then give your stencil a quick clean. time to dry. And if not, then we will have to just, yeah. So what I'm going to do then is I'll just give it a quick waft up here. Right, the postman's here. Sorry, I'll be back in a minute. Hang on. Take care, Deborah. Thank you. Bye-bye. Oh, my gorgeous post lady. She's so lovely. She's also very, very wet at the moment. She's got a thing, and she's got the most amazing stockings on. She's got orange and black stockings, and she's tied a broomstick to her to her trolley for Halloween. She's so lovely. Anyway, hopefully, leave that bit. Hopefully, you that allowed you to finish what you wanted to do. So I'll just give you a minute in case you're doing some bits, extra bits with your stenciling, and then we're going to do some stamping. Okay, so let's get our colours out that we're going to use. Now, what am I going to do with me? So the snowflakes are probably going to go there. Pauline's just sent me a message saying that her cat is sat in the chair watching me. I hope she's learning a thing or two, Pauline. Okay, now with your snowflakes, you could actually use a block. You can use an acrylic block on here because we're going to be stamping in all sorts of places and going over here. So if you want to use a block, then you can do so. And then on the tree and the antler, I won't be using the block. So I'll just take snippets from that. All right. If you just want to use your finger, then with the snowflakes, then let's do this little bit here in green. Ooh. The upside is quite forgiving. And then you can just go in and press. There we go. You can see there. So if you don't have a block handy, don't forget you can always use your fingers. There we go, there. So that's that way. All right. In fact, I might as well stick to what I'm doing here now then, mightn't I? So I'll come up and do it on here. So do some stamp, just add some images around. Let's go up here. Using the same colours. I've got 3 in the green. When using oxides, always, I know I'm going to put some more on here, but always clean your stamps. The oxide can dry on it, and if you then go to use black, it can dull the colour black. So lots of people say don't clean your stamps with the VersaFine, with your permanent ink, which is fine because it's not going to come off again. But with the oxides, because it leaves a residue, it can affect other colours that you stamp. So always make sure your stamps are really clean after having used these oxide inks. All right. So you can see a little bit there. Depending on what you're stamping and where you're stamping is going to depend on how much shows. We've got this here. It's good just to give, ooh, that's very light. It is there. Let's go and put one in here then. So we're building up texture, and I'm just going to flip to a different size. It's a bit large, so I will keep this on the mount. Kind of like the mottled colouring on my birds. Seems a bit of a shame to colour them, really. I just kind of like that. And then we'll just do a bit more up here. There we go. Right. That's all I'm going to do on these stamps. As I said, make sure we give them a good clean. Ooh. Don't spray your work at the same time. Okay. Right, let's move them out of the way. Okay, don't need that for the minute. So, how are we all doing? Are we all at this point where we've got our background stamping how we like it? You can just see it. It's kind of like this mottled effect. As I say, I quite like the colouring on my robins as well. How's everybody doing? So we're all keeping up? We're all here? Are you ready to add some stamping now? Some more stamping? Just going to keep adding stamping, really. So this time I'm going to come in with the permanent ink so that we tie in with the colours of our main stamp. Because if I left it all like that, then it can stay. Well, it doesn't really matter if it stays outlined, but it's nice to tie it in slightly. So I'm just going to do some of these in the darker brown, and then maybe use part of the tree as well. So I'm using the same ink as before, which is the VersaFine Clair. This is Pinecone that I used. So we're just going to stamp out part of the stamp, just the part of the stamp that you want, and then decide where do you want it. What did I do before? I had the little star thing, didn't I? Let's try this. So actually this is going to, we'll have this coming down like that, I think. So think about where you want to put the things. There we go. And again, I'll have something like that. Kind of want it. Trying to think which way I want these. Oh, let's go this way. How would that look? Oh, Lucinda. Is it really complicated then? There we go. I like that. It's coming out of nowhere. I like that idea. And then just do another one of these. And then we'll bring in the tree. So I kind of want it like this, I think. Linda Williams Peacock. Oh my goodness me. All right. So we can do it like that. I guess really should have, yeah, that should have been near the edge so that we didn't have that mark, but we'll just go with the flow. And then I'm just going to ink up the top of the tree and just like stamp part of it. Just do just part of the image. So you'll have nice little feathery kind of stamps, Lucinda, that you can use in the background. Let's see what this looks like. Not too bad. A little bit up there as well. Okay, so just going to go off the edge here. There we go. I think that stamp should have gone the other way, but never mind. It is what it is now. I don't know. Can I actually? I'm not going to be able to join them up, am I? I was thinking I could just do something like that going across it. Let's see what happens. This is either going to kind of work or be a disaster. I'll be scrabbling for my brown pen, I think, joining them up, which I think I'm going to have to do anyway. But let's just see what we got here. You talk to yourself when you stamp at home. Yeah, okay, Lucinda, they look nice. Did anybody see Barbara on TV yesterday? I was working, so I didn't. That's not too bad. Maybe I'll stick my Noel over there then. It won't be in the centre, it'll be coming across here. Huh, that'll look good. Right, okay. I'll give you some moments to do the stamping that you want to do. Those of you that have finished the stamping, then it will be time to colour and fussy cut your image out. Okay, I chopped a little bit off of the bird tail there, so I'm going to colour these in. So that's the next bit we're going to do. Like the previews of Tina's balls. Yeah, is that what she's got next week? Next week, Sunday, I mean. Is that her? I haven't kept, sorry. I am, where are we? Set TV to record, but it failed both hours. Oh, Pauline, that's a shame. You can watch on Rewind, of course, on her channel, which I intend to do. I'm going to have a look and see what she did. I'll catch up and see what she did. I don't know whether I won't be getting the stamps, I don't think, for the minute anyway. For the moment, we'll have to see what happens going forward. So I need actually, what colour did I colour my robin with? Can't even remember what colour I coloured in now. Yeah, it was that colour. And then I think I did this, the burnt umber. So this is where we're moving to. I don't know. What we're going to, so this is where we're moving to. So we're going to start colouring our image and then fussy cutting it. So if you want to get on with that, those of you that have finished stamping your background, then please feel free to do so. All right. So I'm using my polychromos to colour my birds in. Obviously you can use, oh, why are you doing that, Angela? You don't want that bird. You can use anything, your watercolouring, pencils, like your intense pencils, watercolouring, any pens, actual paints. I'm just going to stick with polychromos this morning. So I'm not being over fussy with the colouring at the moment. Just add colouring to your images. And then I'll go back in. Get some depth. So how's everybody doing about Christmas? Have you done anything? Have you finished? Have you done your cards? I know Moya's doing presents. That's really good. Need to get some cards made up. I know that. I always say every year I'm not buying any more Christmas stamps. I've got hundreds of it, and every year they bring out something. Not that I bought anything. Well, actually, I did a die. They always bring out some such different stuff, and you see it and you think, oh, that's really lovely. I want that. Nope. The trouble with some stamps, isn't it? You get some lovely, lovely Christmas stamps, and then next year you think, oh, I can use them. But because you've already used them, you don't know who you're going to send them to. It's like, oh no, do I have to do another one? So we have a massive collection of Christmas stamps. Okay, so this is the quiet time. Oh, Susan. Oh my goodness me. 120 cards, Susan. Yeah, I guess you needed something to keep you occupied, didn't you? And Moya, you're all done. I don't even have 120 people to send cards to. So that's amazing, Susan. Mind you, my mum sends that many cards out. Although it's getting less. each year with the family, but gosh, I'm impressed. I'm very impressed. Every year I say I'm going to start earlier and earlier, and of course I could have done them all in lockdown, except I didn't really feel like doing Christmas cards in April. Just couldn't bring myself to do them. And then I was back at work, which is not really an excuse. It's only 2 days a week. I don't know. Couldn't bring myself to do them, but I'll get them done now. I shall make an effort. There we go. Wow. It's finally stopped raining here. Still very windy out there. So how are we on? Oh, sorry, Susan. Oh, Susan. Okay. That's a good idea. We don't tend to send that many Christmas cards in our family anymore. I mean, the extended family. Some of them we do, but others we don't. I used to send a lot when I was obviously at work. I mean, in the larger company at work, they don't really send them at work here either, where I am now. I'll give um, I'll give the boss a card, of course, and my colleague in the office. This is probably the quickest I've ever coloured these in, but never mind. I wanted to show you the process more than anything. And I want to show you the second second tag. What's the time? 11 o'clock. Okay. Gosh, an hour. Where'd that hour go? It didn't take very long, did it? Okay. How are we all doing? I hope we hope your colouring's coming on all right. And I'm going to cut mine out. Right. So I'm blending on my little robin here, I'm blending the feathers at the base there. So the brown's coming into the pink and the pink's coming into the brown. Yeah, I'm leaving my robin's eyes open. I'm leaving them white. Okay, so I'm going to start cutting mine out. How are we all doing? Okay. Sorry, Robin, I'm going to cut your feet off for now. Here we go. Right. One little birdie. And because I've got some white and some not white, I'm just going to add a little bit of brown here. Oh. To practice cutting out, leaving some white, I think. Fussy cutting is not really one of my skills, I think I can say. Just have to do a lot more practicing, I think. So I have to say, these Pergamano scissors, which they are now, because I changed me from my little nail scissors, do make it a lot easier. I don't know if that's, well, I guess it's because of the shape. So, okay. Really shouldn't have said anything, should I? No, these scissors do make it easier. Okay. How are we all doing? Are we all getting there? Are we fussy cutting out now? Now, how much is it? It's this little bit of his tail is going to show, isn't it? So let's do a little bit of the back of his tail on this one. And then just got this one to do. Oh, excellent, Pauline. Okay, so you're ahead of me. Right, Pauline's glued hers on. How about everybody else? Are we all getting there? Right. So once they're glued on, I'm just going to add the sentiment, and mine's on a piece of calico, which I have here for you to use as well, which is not very helpful. We can't get together. In fact, I have a lot of different kind of materials. Oh, it's really all calico, really, but because my aunt had some as well. Forgot to fussy cut. Forgot to fussy cut what? Oh, good grief, Nikki. But they're lovely. That's all right. That looks fab. You don't have to fussy cut if you don't want to. That looks really nice, Nikki. Loving it. So you've got your birdies on the tree. You guys always come up with amazing things. Okay. Now, is that enough? That's but I don't see what's wrong with the robins, Nikki. Did you not? What were you intending to leave them natural then? Because they look really lovely. I think they look really great. Oh, state of my tag now. It looked lovely and clean, wasn't it? Right. That's it. Okay. I'm gluing mine down now. Ooh, she says as she wrecks her desk. Right. Let's just get this out of the way. How's everybody else doing? Are we all at the gluing down stage? So going to give my birds a little bit of shape. I think I use silicone on my birds, so they're 3D. They are sticking out slightly. So I'll just stick that on here for a minute. It doesn't matter what glue you use. There we go. That's it. They're all lined up. Put this one down. Gosh, guys. Right. Just going to put my yeah. Nice, Susan. Okay, I'm just going to do my calico then. Put my little greeting down on the calico. Add the calico. And then that one's done. So those of you that have finished, we need to stamp the image onto your second tag. So we stamp the image and then we add the paint. So if you want to do that, go ahead and do that. dab that down. Right, and then oops, cutting off there. I'm gonna. Why are you not ripping? Like that. That's better. Right. And then should have gone down. There we go. I've got my Noel. I'll put over there. Only you and anybody else watching the video will know. So just pop the vid. That's it. Okay. Right, Lucinda, what I'll do is I'll show you the next bit and then you can finish at your own pace. How is everybody doing? Are you all ready to move on? Wow, Moya, you did too. It doesn't matter what stamp you use. I like that little village stamp. It's really lovely. Great. Great work, guys. Great work. Okay, I'm going to do the second one now. So you need a tab. Now I have to say I had cheated on this one because I actually stamped up 3 when I did my one. Mainly because I had the thing out. So I stamped up more than 3 because I stamped them up and then have them leave them like that so that I have more than I need per se in case it goes wrong while I'm practicing, which of course it does. In fact, this one I couldn't get it quite right how I wanted it. So what I need you to do then is to stamp your image on your tag. If you haven't already done so, can you stamp your image? I've just put mine towards the top. It doesn't matter where you put. You do need it fairly close to the top because we're going to pull the paint around it. So we're going to get it dripping down like this. So you will need to have it a little bit that way, if you like. So rather than at the bottom, it does need to be towards the top. Don't necessarily have to have it quite as high as mine, but that's what I was doing. And that's where I've got mine. And I'm actually going to change the colours this time. I'm going to go for green just to spice things up. I didn't on the robins, but I'm going to on this one. All right. Just get my water pot. And so what we're doing, oh no, it's blowing a hoolie out there and it's chucking it down with rain. And the air must be coming through my bathroom window, which is open, and my bedroom window's open because I'm now cold. Right. Okie dokie. So have we stamped what we want? Have we got it stamped? Because the next thing we're going to do then is get your watercolours out, ready to use. I said I'm using these Magicals. They've got sparkles in them. You can use Perfect Pearls. You can use Luscious paints. If you've got indigo blue Luscious paints, they'll do exactly the same thing. So what I'm going to do first of all is lay down some water. So I'm going to put the water, if I show you first. So I'm going to put the water up and around. You don't have to soak it. You need to be able to see it. But I'm just going to put the water up and around the top of the card. So it's catching, or it's just going down towards the image. We can paint closer in a minute, but that's where I'm putting the water. And I'm just going to do one side first. And then I'll bring it down on, ooh. Not quite that wet. We do want it wet, but we don't want it sopping wet. Or not, I don't, because I'm not on watercolour card here. So we're just going to, and we'll bring some more water in a minute. And now, taking your first colour, mixing up your paint, however you're doing it. So, of course, you are going to have to get this wet. This does need to be wet and runny for a bit. Oop, now I've got a load of mica in my pot. And then just put it to the top. And where you've watered the card, it will, and hold the card. Can you see that it's, can you see that it's moving into the water? But just keep adding colour all the time. And now I'm going to do some down here. You're holding the card. Okay. It's not going to hurt if it goes over the image. But the idea is it should, ooh, that is a bit wet. Tip it the other way. It will stay where the water is. And as I said, we can go back in a minute and we can get closer if you want to add a little bit more colour in the background. Okay, and if you want more, just add a little bit more water. Get it to drip. Okay. Just going to add some water on this bottom bit here so it actually get it to spread. So can you see that? Get the more colour. Just add some more water here so that it will take. I'm going to add a little bit more colour. There you go. And when you've got how you want it on one side, then you can do the same on the other. It's got some red being picked up from somewhere on here, which is okay. There we go. So now I'm just going to do the same. Oops. I'm just going to wet the other side of the card now. Roughly around the shape. And I'm going to have it drip in from behind the holly. I'm going to do it that way. I'm going to make up this other colour. Ooh. And bring this paint in as well. I'm going to add a bit more water to that. This way. So with your two colours, it's better. So we can get a little bit closer if we want to paint it right the way up in a minute. Ooh. There we go. just going to have a look. Just going to bring in some of the other colour on my top of my tag here. So when you like what it's doing. Now, under normal circumstances, I would then put this to one side. You can see all the mica floating around in this, which is fun, to dry. But we're not going to be able to do that. What's the time? No, we're not going to be able to do that. I guess I could have done this, should have done this bit first, shouldn't I? Did the other card and then come back to this. Oh well. Forward planning and all that. I'm just going to put a little bit of the extra colour around some of the leaves. I'm just going to bring it in this little bit here as well. Just take a look at the image that you're using and see where you think it should it have any colour. If not, don't add it. There we go. Oh, how did I get that over there? I say. Well, I have right a right mess over here, haven't I? Okay. Swipe all this mess up. And then we'll just dry it where it is. Put them out of the way for the minute. Whoa. How did I get so messy? That is quite unbelievable. I didn't manage that last time. There we go. Make sure your hands are dry, your top's dry, everything's dry. And then, nice and messy. And then, oh look, I've just done that and I've seen a bit I've missed. Sugar. I missed a bit. There we go. Right, okay then. The water in my pot's dirty. Right, let's get that dry. Okay. Hopefully that's dry. Okay. So at this point, we're going to do some stamping like we did before. And again, I've chosen some inks that will work with these colours. They're not exactly the same. They're not, identical, but they'll work with it. So they'll give us a nice bit of background. So I'm using, in this case, the holly leaves and the ivy that actually come with this set. And then I'll worry about the holly and the ivy bits in a minute. All right. So the ivy, I did stamp in black around here, but you can also do it in the matching colour and then add some in black, and the same with the holly. You can stamp some in the whichever colours you've used, so the greens in my case, and then we can also stamp a few in black if that's what we want. Ooh, went over my line a little bit, but never mind. So hopefully you've got something sort of like this. And then we're going to add, right, then I'll add the darker colour. So we add the darker colours to the darker side. And again, just going to stamp off using my finger as the mount. And I'll just show you in a second. This is, oh, I can see it. I don't think you're going to see this very easily. So we'll bring some more down here. But I kind of like, I don't know if I can show you on the camera. Can you see this? I don't know. If I hold it like that, if I tip it to the light, there's one there, and there's one there. Can you see them? I think you might just be able to see a few of them. Yeah? They're very faint, but they are there. You can bring it out, of course. If you want a little bit showing on the white, then do that. Oh, I've done 3 of them, haven't I? Don't want that colour anymore. And then I'm going to go on to the other side now. I don't know if any of you are collecting the Distress Oxides. Artistic Stamper are taking pre-orders for the new colour that's being released on the 10th of November, so you don't even know what the colour is. But if you're somebody that wants to collect them all regardless, I just thought I'd let you know. That's Artistic Stamper. You can pre-order everything. So the oxide ink, the ink, the refills, and the paints, the sprays, the glaze, and in this instance, the crayons. So they're releasing the crayons of the next 3 colours. Right, so that's that stamp I've used. And then, it is quite pale, this, but I kind of like it being sort of that pale colour. And then just going to come in with a different shaped leaf now, although again, just using bits of it. I've left it. It is there. It is in there. Nobody's going to believe that this has got anything else on this leaf, is it? On this. Right. That one there. And then I'm going to bring some of it here. There we go. Right, and then just going to do don't forget, make sure that you get the oxide off your stamps. That's it. Right, and then I'm going to just stamp some of the ivy leaves as well. And then I'm just going to do a little bit of it here. Maybe a little bit there. A little bit up here. Oops. I don't know. I'm going to have to go 5 now, aren't I? Okay, we do 1 here. Should only really have inked up part of that stamp. I didn't use as much as I thought I was going to use. Get that out of the way for a minute. And then that one. There. Right. Ink off of that. Okay. Get my mat clean. Oh, let's get this off. It's going to need a cleaning. Oh. Okay. And then am I going to put this on this time? Holly. Ivy. Yeah, okay, let's try. Now I did kind of try and mask off some of this when I was stamping to make it kind of easier. Because obviously I don't want the ink everywhere. And the way this is, golly gosh. Right, let's have a go at this. Right, so I'm only using parts of the stamp. Hopefully. I'm going to get Holly out. There we go. Good. And then just stamp up Ivy. I think I'm just going to do it twice for the moment. So then let's do Ivy down here. There we go. So there's a hint there, the eye's right on the edge. Just a little hint, but that's good, that's fine. And then we turn to colouring the stamp. So once you've done all the stamping that you want, where you want it, have a mix. So we can then turn, make sure that ink is dry. I got a spare piece of paper. Make sure my VersaFine is dry on that mica. Not too bad. And then I'm going to colour. So we do, just gonna, and I've also got the pine cones cut out again because I'm going to cut them out in a minute. All right. So I'm going to raise them up. So I've got just 2 shades of dark green and 2 shades of the middle green. And then which one's which? Which is the darkest? That's the depth. Right. So let's just do so. So I'm now going to bring some colour in. And start colouring the image. And with polychromos, I'm using light strokes here. And then I'll go in with the darker green. That doesn't really show up on here. Do that. Okay. There we go. Because this is a bigger image to colour in now. Right. So I mentioned that I had some ideas. What I thought I'd do for the next workshop session, which is the 14th of November. Can you believe that? I think it's the 14th. It's the 14th, isn't it? Yeah, because next Saturday is the 7th. Yeah, I think, yeah, the 14th. I don't know how you're feeling. There's a couple of things that we can do. Well, the main thing I want to do is look at creating different backgrounds with oxides and inks. Don't know if you're up for that. So you might not actually make a particular card or finish a particular finished item. I can show you different things. But whether we look at different backgrounds and how the 2 inks work differently. If you're all up for that, I'm assuming that has everybody got oxides? It doesn't matter. You don't need hundreds of colours. You only need a couple of colours. Missed a little bit there as well. And then that way, we will be doing some stamping as well because one of the oxide methods uses stamping. it's just to look at some different ideas really for you. So you let me know how you feel about that. As I said, we are going to do it with inks as well. Well, it is going to be the distress stuff because they do slightly different things, but we can look at you know, some different ways of working with them. If you're up for that. So we'll do it on some card and we will do it on a tag as well. Okay, Brenda, that's good. So yeah, that's what I was thinking. So we would create some background. So obviously there will be stamping involved. We'll use a VersaFine, a permanent ink. So it doesn't have to be VersaFine, but it can be a permanent. It can be archival. And then using oxides and distress inks. Harrying this now, so my colouring's going to pop. What's the time? Ooh. Okay, so when you've finished your image, I'm nowhere near doing it at the minute. You don't have to die cut anything, fussy cut any die cut. Look at me, fussy cut anything. If you don't want to, I'm going to have to. Right, I'm going to come back to these leaves later, I think. And then once coloured, of course, you can see if you want to add paint anywhere else. And I would actually, on this one, add it here and here. So I'll just add a little bit more paint. Use the darker green to do the feathery bits here. I don't know what they're called. Pine needles, aren't they? Some pine needles coloured in. And then I know I'm going to colour these in, but just in case they're not cut exact, just add a little bit of colour onto the pine cone. And then some of these are lighter coloured than the stalks, just like that. And then I'm just going to bring in the ivy colour. I have a light green ivy on this one, I think. Actually, going to do these differently. Let's do it this way. Oh, there's some more green around there as well. There we go. Definitely quicker if it's watercoloured. It's okay. As you know, I usually take quite a while to colour, but that's okay. I really much rather let you see the finished item, really, or what I would do to go about finishing it. Here we go. So the darker colour coming in. There we go. Do not like how these leaves have gone. The holly leaves. Look at this. Don't do your colouring like this, guys. I think I'm going to have to blend these out a bit. Okay, it's a bit better. Right, so how are we doing? Have you got your image done? I just need to cover my pine cones. There you go. Happy with that. Right, so I'll quickly cut them out, and then finish this. So I'm going to add some gel glittery pen to the berries on here. Because you know, you can't have enough sparkle. No such thing as too much sparkle. Especially around Christmas. We all want that, don't we? Okie dokie. Right, before I put them down, as I said, I would paint these little bits in here. What's the time? I really need doing. Let's have a look. So I can finish this bit off. Are you all right for a couple of minutes? And then, so if you've got any missed bits, now is the time to do it. Don't want them everywhere, but it's just if you think it would look better coloured in that particular area, then so do it. Don't need a lot, there's only a couple there, and then that little bit over there. Then what I'm going to do is I need to grab a sentiment. I don't think I've got another holly and ivy, but it doesn't matter. We can just put Merry Christmas on it. Don't have to have holly and the ivy on this one. I can ring the changes. There we go. That's better. Okay, let's get that out of the way. Otherwise, that's going to go for a Burton, isn't it? Right. Okay. I've obviously got some ink on my hands. So what I will do now is colour the berries in with my gel pen. You could do anything with these. You could colour, I mean, if you are going to colour them in red or whichever bit you're going to do on your card, you could then use glossy accents or anything like it, so that they're a shinier rather than a sparkly finish. So that would look nice as well. And then right, so dry it. Just while that's drying, I just grab my sticky sentiment. Don't know which one I'm going to take this one to. What should we have this time? How about Merry Christmas? So now it's whether I want it straight or whether I want it cut. And in this instance, I mean, the last one I cut down. So there's the one I did before. So I cut the sentiment. This time, I think I'm just going to go straight across. Doesn't matter. Go straight across, or should I cut it? I'm going to leave it like that this time, I think. I'm going to then stick these on. Oh, I think glue gun. I just use this glue this time, I think. So there's a little bit of dimension, but not as much as there was on the robins. There you go. And then when you're at the point, and you only do this when you're finished, when you think everything's okay, I am just going to do something. I've got a rubber here. I don't know what's on here. There's some weird marks on here, so I'm just going to rub this over it a minute. That's better. Right, let's do that. I move everything out of the way. Because now, when you're at that point and you know that you've finished and you've got the tag the way you want to do it, if you want to do this, this is when you then add your splatters. Try not to get it everywhere. I seem to always get it everywhere, and this one really dropped a lot of ink last time. I wasn't expecting it to do. So let's have a little bit of white splatters going on here. Can I get any there? Can I be directed? Yes. And then I'm going to add black as well. But you could obviously add the colour that you're using. So I could do a dark green. If I had one. Where are they? I'm going to stick with black for the minute because that's what I've got out. But we could have any colour that you want, really. So these are your Posca pens. I'm going to try and do something with these as well because these are great for colouring in. Not just for splattering. Oh, and you got it. This one isn't as wet as the white. There you go. Just got a few in there. Don't need to go completely crazy. So if I just move that out of the way a minute, and so we can then mop up the paint. And then, right, sorry, we're just running slightly over. So hopefully you have a tag like that as well. Hopefully. And that I haven't rushed it too fast. Sorry if I have. You felt I've gone too quickly. So there's that one that we've done today. And there's this one that we've done today. And then these are the ones that I did before, just so you can see the difference. Well, you know what the differences are. So we've got different. Try not to put your finger in the wet paint. This is still wet, so there we go. So I hope you enjoyed what you've done today. Just trying some different things with the paint, the different backgrounds, and using different parts of a stamped image to bring texture in. Obviously, if we have larger stamps, we can also use different parts of that as well, and we can do that another day. So thank you for joining me. Hope you have a good week, or a good fortnight before I see you, actually, isn't it? So hopefully you have a good fortnight. Hope you do get to have a nice weekend this weekend, whatever you're planning to do. And I'll see you all again soon. I'll be in touch. Thanks, Susan. Thanks, everybody. Take care.